sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes. Welcome, everybody. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm looking in the room here. It's filling up. And what I'm really excited about in the house, we have Anthony Rodriguez. How you doing, Anthony?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. So I gave you a shout a couple weeks ago, and then you said, like, my bad, whatever. And I know it's hard because you got cameras around you now. You know, you're always, every time I turn on, I don't watch the news at all. Ask Dominique, right? The last two times I happened to flick on the news, there's Anthony Rodriguez. Okay? I don't know. And I'm like, wait a second, is your mom like taping this? Is this the same thing? And Dominic goes, no, this is today's news. So yeah, so you actually you're doing a lot out there, Anthony. As a matter of fact, and we were talking about this earlier, Don Sanders, actually, you were his gratitude for last week for everything that you're doing in the community. So there you go. Oh yeah, I think he wants to increase business because he's a massage therapist. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why you picked you out a lot. So,
oh wow, that's
wasn't that nice?
Really nice.
Yeah,
that's super nice.
He's gonna be popping in a bit, but no, you did me a solid here. I needed a DP charger to do the recap, and Valeria, who's your niece, I told her, by the way, that you were the favorite. I don't know if I should have said that. I don't know what favorites.
No, she's definitely the favorite. She's definitely a favorite.
I mean, she's a basketball player. I'm really excited. She's going to be making her debut today, but I'm going to crush her middle, and I got her last name down. So how do you say your middle name?
Well, it's actually the first last name, and then there's a second.
So Valeria, how do you say the middle?
Tribucio Romo.
I would have not got that right. Okay, so we're just going to leave it like right there. So let's do this. I'm glad you joined. Please stay because you've been here the last 3 or 4 weeks, but then I don't know, knock, TV cameras. I don't know what it is. You're always getting pulled out. So you're going to go first today, all right? But let's knock out some recaps, all right? We're going to start off with SB Dons. Romy Davies is in the house. What say you, Romy?
Thank you, Erica, and hello, everyone. This is Romy Davies, Santa Barbara High School senior, reporting back from Santa Barbara, California with this week's SB Dons Sports Recap. In our last home game, the football team beat one of our rivals, Dos Pueblos, 49-0 on Friday, setting up a showdown that could decide the Channel League crown next week against Buena. The first touchdown of the game came after junior running back Koa Herrera broke multiple tackles on the way to a 20-yard score. With the win, Santa Barbara improves to 7-1 overall and 5-1 in Channel League play, and are currently in a 4-way tie for first place in the league. In volleyball news, defending champions Santa Barbara High, woo, and Bishop Diego, boo, will begin their CIF girls volleyball playoffs runs with home matches on Thursday in new divisions. Our team, the champions in Division 6 last season, will take on Burbank Burroughs in the first round of Division 4 competition. Santa Barbara, 22-7, won the Channel League title, while Burroughs, age 16, is the number 4 team from the Pacific League. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. On Wednesday, the boys water polo team played an away game against Oxnard, beating them 14-9. This places them first in Channel League with an overall 10-3 win-to-lose rate. This Wednesday, they finally play San Marcos, which will be a big game as the boys finally play their rivals, who are pretty evenly matched in the water skill-wise. That's it for this week's SB Dons recap, and see you next time.
Romy, thank you. Oh, she's so awesome. I can't wait to see. She's put in applications. No word yet where she's going, but I'm sure everybody's going to say yes to Romy. Next in the house. All right. You want to make the introductions, Anthony? It's your niece, in case you want to know where we're going. Okay. We got DP Charger. Who's in the house right now? Anthony.
Right now it's Valeria Tribucio Romo, which is my niece, and I'm super excited about this.
Go get them! What say you?
Thanks, Erica, and hey everyone, I'm Valeria Tribucio Romo, and I'm reporting back from Goleta, California with this week's DP Chargers Sports Recap. Starting off with girls tennis, we had a home game against our crosstown rival, Santa Barbara, but unfortunately the Charger girls couldn't beat the Dons with a final score of 13-5. Girls volleyball had their last home game of the season versus San Marcos. DP played hard, but SM won with a final score of 0-3. Moving on to girls golf, they had an away game versus Oxnard, coming out with a great win of 2-4. This was their best score of the season. Going back to girls tennis, our girls tennis team played against Rio Mesa, with our Charger girls taking the win with a final score of 14-4. Then our girls golf team played San Marcos with a final score of 261-263, taking Channel League title. And finally, football. This Friday we played at Peabody Stadium against Santa Barbara. The final score was 49-0, with the Dons winning the game. And that is it for this week's DP Charger recap. My name is Valeria Tiburcio Romo, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Valeria. I don't have that roll of the tongue like your uncle does, but I'm going to work on it during break. So she did. Hey, she killed it. All right, that was absolute fire. Did you practice with her or what?
No, she's just a natural. You know how that
I'm
goes.
telling you. I mean, I got her
She has the right uncle.
Definitely. She's got
thank you,
attitude. I like it. She sent her pic, and it's like, I need a pic. She gave it to me in like 8 seconds. Bam! Selfie. That's it. I can see the resemblance. I'm liking it. All right. Not to be so short, his second week, last week, he was also fire. We have Sean Walters, Bishop Diego Cardinals. Sean, you're killing it. What say you?
Thank you so much, Erica. This is Sean Walters signing on once again to give you the Bishop Diego High School sports recap. Starting off with girls volleyball, on Thursday, the girls traveled across Turnpike and came home with a 5-set victory over San Marcos. Sophomore Eliana Azua led the way for the Cardinals once again with 20 kills, 13 assists, 11 digs, and a block. Emma Cogleiser also added 18 digs. That win most definitely felt good for the Cardinals. The girls are looking to pack the brick house as they will host Mary Star at home this next Thursday in the first round of the Division 5 playoffs. Wow. The girls' tennis team proved me right as they redeemed themselves on Thursday with a victory over Dunn 11-7. Great job, girls. The water polo team also found success on Thursday as they got their first Tri-Valley League game victory with a 9-7 win over Villanova. Seniors Paul Zoltolski and Austin Carty combined for the 9 goals as Reagan Adams had a very impressive 11 saves. On Friday, the boys varsity football team traveled to Calabasas High School and left with a 48-21 win as well as their first Marmonte League game victory. Star junior Misa Paiaru had a pick 6, 2 receiving touchdowns, a forced fumble, and some huge kickoff returns. Senior running back Karan Gossett also rushed for 4 touchdowns. Next Friday, the boys play Westlake at home for their homecoming game and senior night. That one should be a thriller, so make sure to come out to Santa Barbara City College to support. Well, everyone, that's all I've got for your Bishop Sports Recap. Don't forget to tune in once again next week. This is Sean Walters signing off.
Nice, Sean. I tell you, we had a heartbreak a couple weeks ago against Oaks Christian. It's funny, when my boys played, it was like that whole Goliath. Oaks Christian back in those days were just huge. Many of the kids, our boys went up to them. They were probably the chest high. That was the differential right there. As a matter of fact, both of my son got concussions. Of course, the next day, so there was a mama bear had to go and had to be explained. Why are we going up against such a powerhouse, right? Now, Bishop is a powerhouse. So it's nice that, they stuck it out, and they're definitely so well coached, always been well coached. All their programs out there are doing really super well. We're actually going to be blessed by having Emily Diaz, I believe next week or the week after. She's going to be coming out from Bishop. She deals with all the students out there, and that's going to be exciting. Maybe she can join Raya the first week of the month. So, all right, last but not, we have our own, as we all know, okay, that has been doing the recaps for San Marcos Royals, and he graduated from San Marcos in 1967. Proud alum, and that's our own Ed Langlow. Ed, what's going on?
Thanks, Erica. I'm Ed Langlow, class of 1967, San Marcos High School with a Royals recap. Royals ventured down to Hauser Field in Oxnard last week to face the Yellow Jackets in Channel League football. It was rough from the start as Oxnard took a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. Then it was the Royals' turn when Owen Lauderdale intercepted an Oxnard pass in the second quarter. Then Josh Engel launched a pass to wide receiver Luke Crawford, and Crawford took it in to score. The following kickoff was returned 82 yards by the Yellow Jackets for a touchdown, making it Oxnard 22, San Marcos 6. But Ingle found Lauderdale again with a 2-point conversion, cut the lead to 22-14 in the third quarter. But it was a slippery slope from there on as Oxnard went home with the bragging rights and a 46-14 victory. Owen Lauderdale was recognized as Athlete of the Week at last week's Athletic Roundtable at Harry's Plaza Cafe. Owen was outstanding in the game against Dos Pueblos as San Marcos came out on top, 34-14 in Channel League play. Dave Pintard presented San Marcos' Ellie Monson with the Phil Womble Ethics and Sports Award at the same meeting. San Marcos Athletic Director Abe Jahadami said, "Ellie is one of the most selfless athletes I've seen on the San Marcos campus in my 35 years here." Wow, take that, Ellie. In golf, unbeaten San Marcos met up with their unbeaten rival Dos Pueblos Thursday. Royals' Riley O'Brien came home with the medalist honors with a 44, Evelina Erickson shot a 53, and Fiatori captured a 54. Only 2 strokes separated the teams as Dos Pueblos left with a 261-263 victory and a Channel League championship. In girls volleyball, Eloise McGibbon slammed a team high of 15 kills. Marauding the back row, libero Lily Blankenhorn collected 31 digs to sweep Dos Pueblos in the Channel League final. Next month is the Out of the Darkness Suicide Prevention Walk. Up next to tell you more about that is Anthony Rodriguez after this.
And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hey everybody, this is Anthony Rodriguez from the Food Bank of Santa Barbara County. I'm the Operations and Disaster Services Specialist. Thanks for being here with us today. I wanted to give you a couple of updates that's going on at the food bank. So we've got the Great Shakeout coming out, which is the largest earthquake drill all over the world. And we would like you guys to attend. If you want to attend, go on to foodbanksbc.org and go ahead and register for the Great Shakeout. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do the drop, cover, and hold on. As you know, there's been a lot of earthquakes going on. So, and a lot of shaking going on. So we got to make sure that we're prepared for that. There's other things that we do need to talk about. We've got the Out of the Darkness Walk coming up, which is the Suicide Awareness and Prevention Walk, which will be November 12th at Goleta Beach. And you can go ahead and register for free at afsp.org and look up Santa Barbara Walk, and you can register. Create a team, have a team with your friends. If you go to school, grab some team members. If you guys are on a team, you then, be part of this, because it's really, really important for us to bring awareness to this and make sure that we don't lose no more lives, because, each life is important. And, if you're struggling, please don't be afraid to reach out to somebody, talk to somebody, because you know what? It's okay not to be okay. And that's pretty much all that I got. Any questions?
I have a question, Anthony. I just want to go there and because it's been horrible, the numbers that you shared with us, especially during COVID, and the increases to our kids. It's been horrible. My question to you is this: now with the outbreak of fentanyl, and it's really hitting our community, people don't really want to talk about it, but that's why we're here, to talk about it, to protect our kids. So that's not considered, they're looking at that as not suicide, they're looking at it as overdoses, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. It's 2 different reports that I'm actually getting. And I just got the report on that. And it's not a joke. If you guys are listening to this, you guys need to be careful and take care of yourselves, because right now, nothing is safe at all. And you're not going to know if something's in there, especially fentanyl. And it doesn't take much. It takes less than a little thing of salt. And you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Even though you trust your friends, it doesn't mean that they know what's going on in there. And it's not a joke. You know, your life is too precious for you to just want to try something and then you're no longer here. So parents, please pay attention to your kids, talk to your kids. Don't get mad at them if they say something. Just listen to them, even though it might be a little bit frustrating, but just listen. And if you need to walk away, then that's okay. But just let your kid know and then come back and talk to them when you're a little bit more calm. But give them that opportunity to open up, because these kids really need somebody to talk to right now. And parents, I know that everybody works and that's what we have to do. But if your kid says, you know what, I need to talk, please just stop and just talk and just listen. And if you don't know what to do, it's okay. Just reach out for some help. There's a lot of resources out here. We got Behavioral Wellness that does an amazing job. There's so many different teams that we have here. And, you know, I just want you to reach out, and it's okay not to be okay. And if you made a mistake, it's okay. We just got to learn from our mistakes, you know, just move forward. But kids, it's not a joke right now. Please be careful with what you get into, who you hang out with. And especially when it comes to drugs, you just don't know. So please don't take that chance, because you can do so much more.
And it doesn't just strike families that are impoverished. We lost a beautiful boy a few weeks back at Woodland Hills, baseball player. I was talking to my boys about it, and their take on it is, you know, Mom, you get these kids that were so isolated. Don't say, you know, say no, say no, say no. They go to a party, they drink too much, they're not paying attention they're just hammered, and then all of a sudden they're handed something, they just swallow it.
Yep.
And then they just don't wake up. And in the end of story. So the whole say no, that's dinosaur. It doesn't work. It's proven it doesn't work.
What does work is connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know we have doctors available that can talk about it too. But being able to sit with someone and just say, I see you and I hear you. I don't know what the answer is, but I see you and I hear you. That's a comfort.
Yeah.
You just have to be honest with it. I mean, don't lie. I mean, these kids can tell when you're lying or you're just saying things just because you want to say things. And that's one thing that we don't want to do, because these kids can see it and they're just going to say, it doesn't matter. We're just another person. And they're not. They're an individual. And that's what we have to see.
My oldest works with a lot of young, he's the director of catering, Joe Salda, and he works with a lot of young kids because it's all restaurant business, right? And it's usually a restaurant company. And when the kids get together or they're partying afterwards, and he has taken a young one under his wing, they play golf or whatever, and Joe talks to him and he's like, so what are you doing? Like, what's the scene out there right now? So basically what kids are doing is they'll let 2 or 3 people try the products and wait to see how they react to it. And I'm like, Joe.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
That's just sick. It's just like, that's just like, what? I had to, I don't know. Maybe I'm too old. I don't get it. So it's, the whole, like Dominique says, we need to reach out. We need to connect.
Connect is the answer. Connect, connect, connect.
And I think everybody on this panel, I know Dominique has experience. Don has experience. We have 2 doctors on the panel. Christine's got experience. Let's talk more about it after these messages.
Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hi, this is Dr. Jean. You know, I've been thinking a lot about what happens in our small town here on State Street after hours. I have a daughter who also worked the restaurant industry. I often think what is happening, right? Because we're all asleep and people are having a good time downtown, but it's really clear that it's not a safe environment. I was thinking, what can we do? You know, could we have little chemistry sets or something that are at the restaurants so people can test their drugs? Anything where people can start to connect or if you're going with a girlfriend or a guy or a group, that you have discussions about that ahead of time. I know a lot of women are using, their friends or to watch their drinks and some simple things. But I think it's just beyond that. Like you're saying, it's not that simple anymore.
No. Dr. Amy. Bless you, Dr. Amy. Dr. Amy.
Yeah, I think there's two pieces of the equations which have both been mentioned, but I just want to emphasize them. As a young person, if you're struggling and you're wanting relief from anxiety, depression, or just wanting a little fun, you need to be aware of those impulses and share your impulsive thoughts with someone you trust before you act on those impulses. And as adults in the community, we need to be paying attention to the little signs that often come before someone making a poor choice, whether it's the repeatedly slammed door when they come in from school, or being in their room for hours on video games, or, the grunt instead of the conversation when you ask a question. Those are things that have you want to pause, put down your phone, stop doing the laundry, stop cooking dinner, and say, it looks like you're having a rough time, and I'm really concerned about you, and I'm here for you. And if I'm not the person for you to talk to, then let's find someone else, your aunt or our neighbor or your coach, so that you can feel supported.
So beautiful. And I just, as a mother of 5, I just want to add that in talking to my children who are all now adults, and knock on wood, they're all alive, wonderful adults. Thank you. Thank you. They have expressed that the times when they were having a really hard time, it appeared that they were doing okay, or they were even doing outstanding. And so just because your student may be coming home with A's or A's and B's and seems to be all doing great, that doesn't take away from the need to take a break, connect, and have a real conversation and find out what's really going on. So someone coming home with an excellent report card doesn't mean that they're okay.
Right.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's one thing that we got to think about when it comes to thinking about thoughts of suicide. They could either be a person that has complete straight A's, they're doing really well, but you have that sense in your stomach that something's not right. You got to go on that. You have sixth sense. You got to go on that. Just don't be afraid to ask, because that's what does happen. Everything seems like it's okay. They start giving away things that they love, and you start wondering, oh, why are you giving it away? Oh, I'm not going to need it anymore. But you got to ask that question. Hey, well, why don't you need it anymore? That's your favorite thing. But they seem okay. So why are you going to question? A lot of people don't question it because they seem like they're doing excellent now. And people just let that go because they seem like they're doing better. And in reality, they just already made up their minds. So we need to catch that. Thank you for bringing that up, Dominique.
Yeah. We also have to work as a community as well. I remember on a few occasions coaching, as I've said 1,000 times, I feel like Camilla on The Voice, where she keeps on saying she was in a girl band. I always keep saying that I've coached for 28 years, right? Just like, so what does that have to, that's not relatable. But what I try to say is, if somebody's going to reach out, if you're a coach or a teacher and you think something is off, you have to say something, and you have to just suck it up if there's consequences, because you're reaching out, because you're caring for somebody. I've done it a few times and I've gotten my head absolutely chopped off. But both of those cases, I wasn't wrong. So that person that reaches out is we have to also embrace that person and have that person understand that they're being, they're going to be some kind of protection from them, whether it be a teacher or a coach. Because like Dominique and I were talking about it, and I actually watched a movie the other night, and I was, the principal's encouraging her not to do anything because the parents are big benefactors to the school, and the teacher's like, no, there's something not right with the child, blah, 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 blah. And she was shut down. Well, that's just not the right approach. And I'm like, I wouldn't be shut down. I would absolutely be there. Then I would go around him. And then Dominique's like, well, then you'd lose your job. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not meant to be a teacher then. I'll have to go off and do something else, because I would have to live with the consequences of that one child. And that would, knowing my personality, that would haunt me for the rest of my life. So, and I already go to a therapist, and I already have a list, okay? And I don't need to add in something else on it.
We want our teens to know every human being matters. Every single one of us matters.
Correct. I don't know. Christine, I know you want to add something.
What I do want to add, I think it was being addressed a little bit earlier when we were talking about talking and checking in, and I wanted to acknowledge that a lot of times the kids don't necessarily do what we say, they do what we do. And so it's really important to access that when we are feeling things in our own hearts and in our own guts, that we're honest about that with ourselves and with our kids, because that gives them permission without us having to say, you have permission. It shows them this is how we deal with these things. And if we don't know how, we try. We can talk to other people who do know how, or somehow reach out for ourselves, because when we reach out for ourselves, we're also reaching out for our children. All the healing we do in our own lives really affects 7 generations forward and back. And so to really be willing to go to a place of vulnerability is so important. It's really hard, and it's so important.
Nice. Dawn, you want to finish it up?
Yeah, I heard connection being talked about, and I had engagement. And as much as possible, relatability, rather than I'm the parent, you're the young person or the child. If it's your, child, if we can engage them like friends, even though, we have a responsibility as parents, I think that's really important. And, it's like Christine just said, we have to have our own practice. We have to have our own kind of process that keeps us grounded and keeps us, because everybody has times when their mind's up and down like a yo-yo, and a process that brings you back to feeling grounded and you're making good choices. So we have to keep that straight as individuals in order to be able to reach out and help anybody else. But definitely not the time for isolation and aloneness. There has to be more engagement. I wanted to add engagement to the party here.
Nice. Christine.
I also wanted to add, because I was just saying this last night, actually having a conversation with someone, that it isn't what's happening outside the boat that sinks it. It's what we let get in the boat that sinks it. So there might be a lot of really difficult things happening outside. I'm mixing metaphors here, but I try to be the eye of my own storm, be a line of peace in the chaos that's happening around me, and not let the chaos into my boat. Because if I let the chaos into my boat, I just become a part of everything that's whirling around. And it's hard work. It takes a lot of deep breathing and a lot of heart centering and connecting. But I find it very helpful.
There's another saying that relates to what Christine said, is that a lion is the king of beasts, but it's a parasite that rots the lion's, inside, from the inside out.
Nice.
Beautiful. Well, part of what we're all talking about in connection and so forth, that's part of what I try to talk about with the Hygge, the stories that I share.
Hygge? Let's have Hygge right after these messages.
Well, now together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman, and a man. Together we'll stand, divided we'll fall. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we will stand, every boy, every girl, and a man.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
Hello, I'm Dominique Hackett with Santa Barbara Wellness Center, and this is a Hackett's Hygge. Thank you. This is where we tell stories that help to bring that comfy, cozy sensation into our lives, increases connectability and relatability. So I love to do storytelling. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, glass of water. And I'm going to tell you a story that started in, it's a very old story, and it comes from a town in Italy. So this is over 100 years ago. And long ago, they used to do things like arranged marriages and so on and so forth. So there was this business owner, and he had a lot of money that he owed to a loan shark. And unfortunately, a loan shark is someone else in the community who loans out money, but they do it at a really high interest rate. And it's very unfortunate. But this loan shark, he was a very old, unattractive fellow. And, well, he happened to have a fancy for the business owner's daughter. He really wanted to marry her. So he decided to offer the father a great way to get out of debt. He said, I'll wipe out your debt if you let me marry your daughter. Well, this made the father very uncomfortable because he didn't see that that would necessarily be a good match, but he did want to get away from his debt. So he did go and talk to his daughter. And she said, well, this just doesn't quite seem very fair. So the loan shark, he was a creative, crafty fellow, and he said, tell you what, I'll put 2 pebbles in a bag. One pebble will be white and the other one will be black, and you can reach your hand in the bag and pull out a pebble. Now, if you pick out the white pebble, your father's debt will be wiped out and you don't have to marry me. But if you pick out the black pebble, you have to marry me. So either way, I'm going to wipe out your dad's debt. So isn't this great? So the girl's thinking to herself, wow, what are my options, right? Do I refuse to pick a pebble? Do I take both of the pebbles out of the bag? Do I, maybe pick a pebble knowing full well that I could end up marrying this guy? Because her dad didn't see it, but she noticed that when this old gentleman picked up the 2 stones, guess what? He picked up 2 black stones. She saw that he was literally cheating the game. So she's in a critical situation. What do you do? What do you do? What she ended up doing is she pulled a pebble. When she pulled it in such a way that nobody could see what it was, and she dropped it. And it mixed with all the other stones on the ground. And she said, oh my, I was, so excited by this opportunity to help out my dad. I dropped it. Well, but we'll know which stone I picked by whatever stone is left in the bag. Perfect. So in this very clever way, wow, she walked through the situation. Her dad's debt got wiped out, and the loan shark wasn't put in a situation where his trickery and literally thievery was right. He wasn't shamed. And she also held her honor and didn't have to marry someone who she didn't want to marry. So the point of this story is there is always a way through very difficult situations, and it may not be the answer. It may not be something that has been presented to us, but it may be something that we have to come up with on our own. And so I just want to encourage, with all these conversations about drugs and trying to protect our kids, especially with Halloween coming up and so forth, what I want to encourage is the answer through these situations in order to keep ourselves safe may not be something that our parents told us or someone else told us. It may be something that we come up with on our own that helps us stay safe.
That was a really good story, okay? Because I didn't even know that was going to go there. Did anybody else know it was going to go there?
And
I had no idea.
Animals either.
That was a good story. That'd be cool. People are sharing that story because that was excellent. Dawn, how good was that story?
That was excellent.
That's awesome.
The need for critical thinking. And what we need to understand with critical thinking, it's not based on, oh, I've stuffed all this information into a teen's head, and then they're going to use that information in order to problem solve. It's not like that. What critical thinking is, it's working on the muscle of the own individual in order to temper what is true. And so what you're literally doing is building your integrity and your alignment to what you know is true. That's what participates in you being able to have critical thinking.
Nice. Dr. Jean.
Yeah, I think about critical thinking and how the brain functions when we're in trauma. That it's really, really hard to organize our thoughts, to be in, executive functioning of, we can just be in fight, flight, freeze, one of those three, or even fawn. And it can be really hard to go, what do I need to do here, right? We can get stuck in the fear of what might happen or what's happening in the moment. So really learning those skills of how do I ground, how do I get my, thinking brain, my talking brain, sometimes people call it, online. That's what came to me.
Don.
Yeah, that last comment of Dominique's, a beloved educator here in our community, Jim Bailey, he's been in the public school and he's started his own program that's a democratic school model. And he was talking on a peace day here in Ojai about how the kids need to be able to have more input into how their education's being directed than is being, done by the administration in public school. That, at in the democratic school model, my son went to his school for his high school. You can pick, they have all kinds of resources and you can pick what you want to study. And the teachers, rather than this is our program, get with our program, it's like, you tell us, what do you want to learn about? And then they help them with the thought process as they get involved with the activity, and they encourage them to think for themselves, not just to do as you're told.
More of a Montessori approach.
Yeah.
So the school needs to tell you how to think, not what to think.
That's it. That's it right there. And I've also always believed this was more in line with the radio stations that I worked for from the very beginning, but I took this philosophy on and it spread across my entire life. Work with what you have until you get what you want. And the other philosophy is there's always a workaround. Always. It's just, how have you been taught to think in order to figure out what the workaround would be?
Drop that pebble.
Drop that pebble, if that's what that takes.
Just drop that pebble,
yeah,
D.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, the plan A, plan B, plan C, I mean, that's when you read about famous people. This is the importance of story. So our bodies we have mirror neurons. So when we participate with another person, our body with the mirror neurons is having a deeper experience than if we're just watching something. It's like the body is assimilating information as though it's happening to the body. And the mirror neurons, eye-to-eye contact, is helping us connect with the neocortex. So the important thing about stories is we get to feel what it's like to be that girl in the story. So we get to feel what it's like to be afraid and then come up with a creative solution. And because we felt that, now our body says, oh, I can do that.
Yeah. It's quite honestly, it's almost along the lines of what I went through when I agreed to become a narrator for this author. Because when I was a kid growing up in school, hated to read aloud in front of the class. Just hated it. I just feared it. Yeah,
public speaking, some people say, people are more afraid of public speaking than dying?
Yeah. They'd rather be in the coffin than be talked about from the outside.
Nice. So let's do this. I'm looking at everybody. I don't know. Dr. Amy, I think she needs coffee. I'm looking at Christine. Right? We're going to pick it up a little bit now. We're going to pick it up. We're going to go back to Anthony Rodriguez because I want to get some updates on our earthquake kit that is put all together. This is Erica Salda. Be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
Hey everybody, this is Anthony back on the scene. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about the shakeout and how to prepare for a disaster. Especially, you just never know when, right? It's if but when. And I think here in Santa Barbara County, we are an all disaster county. Anything can happen here. So one thing you got to remember is make sure that you have your contacts. It's very, very important that you have your contacts, not just on your phone, but if you can have it also on paper, it's really good because a lot of us forget to memorize people's phone numbers these days because it's on the phone. Make sure you have backup battery for your phones if you have that. If you have all your contacts in there. Also, think about your important documents. You don't want to get caught like several of our community members after they lost their home in a fire. They're still struggling with that because they lost a lot of their documentation. So make sure that you make either backups or back it up onto something safe. Give a copy to somebody you trust. However you want to do it, but just make sure that you have access to your important documents. Don't forget about having some water. Water, as we all know, is very important. Everybody says, why do you have to have so much water? Well, you probably want to cook. You probably want to wash your hands. You probably need to go to the bathroom. So you got to think it is a lot of water, but you know what? 1 gallon per person per day. Even more. If somebody likes to drink a lot of water. Don't forget about your four-legged family members or your two-legged family members. Your pets. Make sure that you have something for them. Make sure you have their paperwork. Make sure you have food, some toys, and you also don't forget about the toys for the kids, right? Because you want to make sure that you keep your head on straight and they don't drive you crazy. Got to keep them busy. So just keep that in mind, and just make sure that you know how to shut off your gas, shut off your water, know your electrical panel. Your utilities are really important. But again, it's not if but when, but you got to keep yourself safe. Don't forget to register for the shakeout again at foodbanksbc.org, shakeout 22. And again, it will be a virtual drill. And we'll be going over the 7 steps to earthquake safety, which will be really quick. We'll do the drop, cover, and hold on. And that'll be the end of the drill. It doesn't take much to practice the drop, cover, and hold on. So
what's that website?
It is foodbanksbc.org. And then right at the very front page, you'll see the great shakeout. There's a link so you can go ahead and register. And it's for the virtual shakeout drill.
Nice.
Does that also have the list that you can print for your
it should have it. If it doesn't, I'll take a look right now and make sure that it's up there. Absolutely.
Dr.
And Anthony, I'm sure it's on the list, but we'll just say it now. You want to have meds. You want to have layers of clothing. And if you are a person like me who needs contacts or glasses to function, you want to have those.
Absolutely. And you got to think also your family members that have access and functional needs. So it's really important that for us to be prepared, you have to take a look at what you have, what you need to prepare for, and then take it little by little. You don't have to jump on it like really quick. And again, people think they have to buy this big old kit. No, you have to customize it to yourself, to your family members, because you can buy a kit, it has all kinds of stuff in it, but you might not even use it. It might not even be for you. So it's a waste of money. So if you have kids, just get a bag from them.
I want to add, if you're saving flour or masa cornmeal, if you put it in your freezer for 3 days and then you store it, if there was any bugs in it, the bugs are killed, and so that it won't get destroyed wherever you're keeping all your earthquake supplies.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, and don't forget that food because you got to make sure that you eat nice and healthy.
Nice. Christine, are you all prepared?
No.
See, I can always tell who's
coming to our house.
Christine is looking up in the air. She's looking to the right. She's looking to the left.
I get a lot of water. I get water from I always have, I think, about 8 gallons of water either in my car or in my house at any time because I'm a stickler about water, and I go and I get my filtered water from the Lazy Acres, and so I'm always so water I always have, and I have been slowly getting a solar radio.
That's
and
awesome.
I have solar battery charger.
All you
and
gotta
that
do
kind
is
of thing.
throw some, if you're going, think yourself, you'll be going away for a weekend. Because you like clothes, and I know I don't see you wear the same thing ever. So you could throw.
Yes, you do.
No, actually, I don't. Pay attention, really. No, but you do have a lot of clothes. So if you throw some of those in for 2 or 3 days and put it in a bag and throw it in the car, you're good. But I'm getting the whirly, and when Dr. D whirls around, that means we're going to take a break.
Wrap it up.
Wrapping up the show.
We got to drop that pebble. We'll be back with more after these messages.
No, we won't.
Oh, we're done.
We're done.
Oh, dear God, thank you, Lord.
Pick up the pebble next week.
Yeah, drop that pebble. Keep a smile. See you next week.
You're the best around.